Hello there, woven web enthusiasts. Today, we have a guy that his wife called him her ex-boyfriend's name while they were having sex. He posts in the relationships subreddit account, "My wife said her ex's name while we were having sex." My wife and I have been married for 4 years, and we have a 2-year-old. We've dated on and off for 3 years before we got married. Last night, she says her ex's name while we're having sex. Then she goes on to say some weird excuse as to why. She said it's a common name, which it is, and that she must have heard it recently. Oh, I wasn't going to start a big argument at the time, but it's since gotten me thinking and worried about why she did that. And some background, this was a guy she was with for a couple of years before I met her. They met in college and they were serious for some time. They'd broken up when I met her and decided they were better as friends. Now, they were friends for years before we dated. We started dating, but he remained in the picture. He was her best friend first and foremost, and I grudgingly went along with it for a while. Several months passed, and I put my foot down, saying it's too uncomfortable for me. And she did resist some, but she stepped back from him. Every time we broke up, she was with him. And we finally reconciled and got engaged. He apparently didn't know this and stops talking to her. And she was devastated when he stopped talking to her, which that should have been a red flag to me. We talked about it, and she was happy to have chosen me, she says. Now, after this happened, I'm tempted to see if she's gotten back in contact with him again. I know she's checked on his social media because I saw the searches on the laptop. She doesn't know I know that. I don't think she'd cheat, but this guy was always different for her. So do I just confront her, or do I start going through her phone, or am I just being paranoid? And for the comments now, No Way to Stop says, "It's too late now, but this is the type of girl you walk away from when all these red flags show themselves during the dating stage. Instead, you married her. Well, at least you know now who she's thinking of when you're fucking her. I would still be very curious to know when the last contact was. He's still searching him on social media. She's probably not over him. Would look into everything." Weem Scene says, "Yeah, it's odd that she would just blurt out the name of someone she hasn't seen or had emotional connections with in years. I would definitely be more than curious about this. It could be that she's been thinking about him lately, wondering about the road not traveled. Not exactly great, but not quite cheating. Check his social media. If it looks like he's married with kids too, that's a positive sign. Is he still in your area? If he doesn't live anywhere near you, then maybe physical cheating is less likely to have happened. If he's single and in your area, then some very, very subtle snooping into her chats, apps, phones, messages might be something to think about. If you two had just started dating and this happened, I could see it. But out of the blue, after years of marriage and a kid, just seems damn odd to me." And Low Jules 17 writes, "I had a dream about an ex that I hadn't even thought of in years, and it was totally out of nowhere, and I certainly don't want him back or anything, so this could be nothing. However, the fact that she is searching him on social media and shit, you should definitely bring it up. He seems to not be over him at all. This isn't fair to you." A deleted account says, "I don't know how anyone just accidentally says the wrong name while having sex." Rock2552 says, "Your relationship has so many red flags that you've ignored, so many excuses that you've just accepted. I don't know what you're doing to find out any evidence, and I don't know how you're going to react when you find the evidence. You've allowed so much to happen that I question if this is ignorance or bliss. You're not going to get a straight answer from her. It sounds like she's never been over him, and you are always the safe bet. She's married with a kid, yet she's keeping tabs on him." Squish Beam says, "She can't let him go, or she doesn't want to. She's clearly still in love with him, so I don't know why you got with her in the first place. Is she protective of her phone, social media, and email? It's a big indicator that someone is cheating." And OP responds, he says, "I think I wanted to believe what she told me versus what I was seeing. She's very protective of her phone, but she's always been." Good87 asks, "Why did you decide to get married?" And a comment, "The fact that he proposed knowing the ex was still in the picture, even as friends, the ex doesn't belong in the picture if she's supposedly building a relationship with OP." And finally, a lady writes in, Stoner Kitten 12, "Okay, I don't know about your wife, but I'm going to speak from my own personal experience. I was with a guy for 5 years, and we broke up, and I started seeing someone about 8 months later. I said my ex's name a few months into the relationship. I don't know why, because I really wasn't thinking about him. And I know it's been 4 years into this relationship, but sometimes I have to contemplate in my head what name I'm about to say because I always second guess myself and worry it won't happen again, which is a whole new anxiety problem for me. But yeah, I would just sit down and ask her about it because you'll never know if you don't ask. Just don't seem immediately hostile. And finally, J-Dog Pitt writes, quoting, "Every time we broke up, she was always with him," unquote, a.k.a. they were fucking. He apparently didn't know your engagement and stopped talking to her. She was devastated. Shaking my head with these red flags. Now you'd say he's single and lives in the area, so more red flags. And on top of that, she still looks him up. More red flags. Go through her phone, email, social media, all that to find out proof, which you will. Here's my thoughts. Never date a chick that's friends with her ex. In this case, best friend, shaking my head. She clearly still in love with him. I wouldn't be surprised if she's sexting him or actually fucking him behind your back. Hey, Reddit listeners, quite a story here, and there's going to be an update on this one. The OP did get some additional information, new posts, new comments, so we'll get that up soon. I appreciate you listening.